Hi everyone, it's Pocket, and today I'm going to be talking about sealants. Why? Because I feel the need to talk about alternative sealants that you can use for BJD face-ups other than MSC. Because when I was starting out doing face-ups, and I was gathering all the materials that I needed, I came about one little problem. MSC is not really available in Europe. You cannot really go to any store to buy it, and there aren't really any national online companies you can order it from where you will be able to order it and then get it in 2 days. Maybe except for Amazon maybe, but still. You can only order it from overseas, and then it takes a heck of a lot of time to get here, and MSC is usually quite expensive. So I immediately thought of getting different kinds of sealant for my face-ups, and they've worked out pretty well for me ever since. So I've been doing face-ups for a bit under a year now, and I've only been using sealants that I could get at a store in my local area, and they've all worked out perfectly for me. Nonetheless, I have tried quite a few sealants now, and I just thought I'd make this review for you just to show you what different sealants you can get that will work for BJD face-ups and what their strengths and weaknesses are. So let's get started. So the first sealant I'm going to be talking about or showing you is Lucas. Now this is Lucas spray film with UV protection. This is the first sealant I ever bought when I started doing face-ups, and it is excellent. Why? Because this sealant is not very expensive. It's a European company, so I'm not sure if you can get this in America or overseas. I don't know. I'm gonna check that out for you though. But this comes in a 400 milliliter can, and it is perfect for starting out with face-ups because this has a very even finish. So when you spray it, the application is not very heavy, and it comes out really easily. Now this is suitable for oil, acrylic, gouache, prints, and any kind of pastel drawings or pencil drawings. So it is meant for artists to seal their paintings. So it's definitely 100% suitable for resin BJDs, no problem. I'd be careful using this on a doll made of ABS, plastic, or vinyl, or any of those other materials, because I once tried this on a Monster High doll, and what I got was some sort of sticky complexion, so I'd be a little careful with that. But for resin BJDs, this is perfect. Varnish for oil, acrylic, and tempera paintings, drawings, and art prints. Imparts your artwork a matte surface and protects against dust, dirt, and UV light. Dries quickly to a waterproof, transparent, elastic, and aging-resistant film. Non-yellowing. Those are all kind of things I like to have on my BJD head when I'm doing a face-up. And that's what makes this thing brilliant. I use this on the first 7 to 10 layers of a face-up, just because I want to build up that UV protection to a point where I'm satisfied that the head will definitely be protected against sunlight. And with the aging factor, I can definitely confirm that it ages very well, and it lasts you a long time. My one face-up that I had on my Doll Zone girl, it aged well into 8 months before I removed it, and that one was done only using this sealant, and it had no cracks, and there were no patches, no paint had come off, so it was definitely very age resistant. Now let's talk about weather. I have used this sealant in very cold weather, in warmer weather. I've used it in high humidity and in dry air conditions. And I must say it does work the best in dry, like all sealants, it works the best in dry conditions where it's warm. If the can is room temperature and the doll as well, you will definitely get the best results. But it does also work when the weather conditions outside are a little more harsh, when you've got cold weather, you've got high humidity. I have used this in those conditions too, and it worked out fine. So this one's definitely very durable, very suitable for all weather conditions, I'd say. So other than that, there's not much more to say. It's got a very good applicator, it's quite big, so you can rest your finger on it very well. It sprays very easily, and you get a nice, thin, even film out of it, so you can layer it very well. You can build up multiple layers with this thing, no problem. So this is my second can of this stuff already, and I'm definitely going to stick with this stuff especially for the first couple of layers of a face-up, because of the UV protection, because it protects from yellowing. What else do you want, really? The next sealant I'm going to show you is Army Painter Anti-Shine Super Matte Varnish for miniatures and models. This sealant is, it's heavy stuff. Heavy, I say, because it is very, very easy to overdo it with the sealing, with this sealant. Why? Because, as you can see, the nozzle is thinner than the other one I showed you, the Lucas can. And somehow, I don't know, I think it's just not that well engineered, but when you spray, it always gives a big burst of sealant, you know, like a really big burst of film, spray film, and then you really have to be careful that you're the right distance away from your doll so that you don't spray too much of a thick layer on your BJD. Yeah, so that's the first con of this thing. It is a little bit more expensive than the Lucas spray film, but for that I must say the finish is a lot more matte. It gives your face-up, well, it gives your BJD head kind of a grainy texture, so you can really see almost the texture that the sealant gives your doll. It's not necessarily a good thing, because I guess you always want to keep thin layers on your face-up, but I have used this for quite a while now, and I was extremely happy with the result because the face-up was matte, 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 there was no shine on it whatsoever, and the layer was extremely strong. It ages very, very well, I guess, just because it is that strong. It's almost a little bit too strong. It's actually so strong that once the last layer dries and cures fully of the sealant, and you try to go in there with a magic eraser, wet or dry, you will not be able to budge the face-up at all. You won't be able to penetrate the layer. That's how strong this stuff is. That's good, but the can is somehow, I don't know what they screwed up on, but when you start using this in a bit more higher humidity, you can risk getting like blotches of sealant on your doll that will not be matte, but that will actually catch the light and shine. I once had this problem on an Applehouse Doria face-up that I was doing. She had a huge blotch right in the middle of her forehead, and I was like, boom, look at me, I'm a huge blotch on the doll, and that wasn't very good. So that's kind of the downside of the sealant. The finish is great, it's extremely strong, extremely durable, it's like sealant on steroids, but it is very weather sensitive and you have to be careful that you don't spray too much on the doll. Because this, like I said, it's quite a heavy-handed sealant. But the one thing that really has gotten me peeved off about this sealant is that the nozzle, after you've used it for a few months, it starts to clog up. It starts to clog up to the point that you cannot get any more product out of the can, even though you still have a lot of it left. And then you're like, oh great, now what? I used almost half the can and now I can't use the rest because the bloody nozzle is clogged up. Ugh. So what I recommend is actually getting a pack of extra nozzles so that you can actually, because you can, with every can, you can just pull the nozzle off and you can insert another nozzle on there and then spray with that one, and that helps. Then you can get a few more sprays out of the can, but it's only a matter of time until that nozzle clogs up again and you have to replace it with a different nozzle. So you're constantly replacing nozzles with the sealant just to be able to use it fully, you know, without wasting any product, and that's a bit of an annoyance, especially since this sealant is a little bit more expensive and you want to get the bang for your buck, right? But other than that, this thing was made to give you an absolute perfect matte finish, and it will give you that, provided you use this in perfect weather conditions, because otherwise this guy can get a little sensitive and it can be a real pain in the butt if you don't do that. Just one more note on the durability, don't worry, it can be removed perfectly fine with nail polish remover, not a problem. It's not that strong. So all in all, the Army Painter sealant is brilliant, but unfortunately it has its problems. And to be honest, when you're doing a face-up and you're in the middle of sealing and then you do all your work, you know, and you do perfect eyebrows and you just got your lines, everything perfect, and then the weather is a little bit off, but you still want to seal the face-up, and you go out there and you seal it with the Army Painter and it comes out blotchy, and then you're just like, oh, who needs that, you know? So that's why I want to show you one more face-up sealant that you can use, which is better than the Army Painter. It is the Citadel Purity Seal Satin Varnish. Now don't be alarmed, this stuff says satin varnish, but it is matte. It is really, really matte. It's not as matte as this, but it's matte enough. Now Citadel is a company belonging to Games Workshop. They're almost, some people, they're not one and the same company, but Citadel is a company that makes the paints and the sealants and the brushes for Games Workshop, because Games Workshop manufactures miniatures that you buy and assemble and paint yourself to be able to play a game with. They are a bit more on the expensive side. This sealant is even more expensive than the Army Painter sealant, but their stuff is really good and it's really, really worth the price. I also own Citadel paints, and I have to say that I'm pleased as punch with them because they were made to paint 3D models. Even though the Army Painter was also made to seal 3D models, they kind of tripped at the finish line and manufactured the can wrong or whatever. I don't know, they screwed up somewhere here. But this one was really, really well thought through, and this was made to give you that perfect finish. The applicator, well, the nozzle, as you can see, it's got one of these larger nozzles where you can rest your finger on, and it's very, very comfortable. And when you spray it, it's not that heavy-handed kind of spraying that you have with the Army Painter. It's really, really light, and you can build up layers well because it gives you a light, even finish. And the best thing about it is durable in almost all weather conditions. It will not give you any problems. I've used it so far in before a rainstorm, actually. I used it outside while it was nighttime, no problems. I've used it dry, warm conditions, no problems, and I've used it in cold conditions as well, again, no problems. So this stuff is really my recommendation to all of you who want to have the perfect even finish on a BJD's face-up. This is the sealant for you. It is more expensive, but once again, it's in a 400ml can, and that's definitely more than an MSC can, and it's definitely worth the price because it just gives you that much more, and it's so easy to use. I am proud to say that I am also in the Warhammer Games Workshop hobby, and I also collect miniatures, and I have been painting miniatures for quite a while now, even before I was doing face-ups, so I can definitely confirm that this stuff is brilliant. I mean, it was made to seal off resin miniatures. Games Workshop manufactures resin miniatures as well as plastic miniatures, so this stuff works on both. It is 100% compatible with resin. Definitely. Believe me, I know. And the best thing about it is available online in almost any country. There are also Games Workshop stores that you can go to. They are usually located in the bigger towns. So what I use currently, I use the Lucas spray film with UV protection on the first couple of layers, and then I use Citadel's Purity Seal for the last couple of layers to finish it off. And yes, this is also a good sealant to finish off a face-up. You do not need something else to finish it off. I don't know what else you want to use. Yeah, so this has really become my favorite sealant right now because it's so easy to use, it's so user-friendly, it withstands almost all weather conditions. It is a bit more expensive, but that's all worth it in my opinion. So I hope this video was helpful for some of you. I hope some of you will also consider maybe buying one of these sealants instead of getting your MSC from a faraway land. Like I said, I have never used MSC a day in my life. I've only stuck to these alternative sealants for my BJD face-ups, and I've been fine. It's all been smooth cruising, except for this Army Painter. That was really a bummer. Like and share and comment down below, tell me what you think, and tell me if you've had any other problems with MSC and if you're considering buying alternative sealants. Tell me which one you would get. I'd like to know, and I also would like to know if this was helpful for any of you, because that's the whole reason I did this video, to help you guys. So that is it for this video. Hope you're all having a great day, and as always, have a happy dolly day, guys. Bye!